Well, everyone, hi. This is going to be a bilingual live broadcast. Este va a ser un broadcast, una transmisión bilingüe. Y tiene que ver, obviamente, con el mundo del fútbol y el mundo en general, que está patas para arriba. Vamos a empezar en inglés y lo terminamos en castellano. Seré breve. No sé si ahí se está viendo el link. Los live trabajan bastante mal. Lamentablemente, estoy tratando de ponerlo para que lo vean de una vez y a ver si se puede hacer. Bueno, a ver. Estoy tratando de hacerlo porque quiero que vean el nombre de esta persona. La asociación o la unión o el sindicato de jugadores de fútbol soccer unidos se siente enferma, en realidad mal, angustiada y enojadísima con el gobierno iraní debido a justamente lo que está pasando allá en Irán, ¿verdad? El preview, estamos tratando de hacerlo. Parece que no quiere trabajar bien este teléfono, pero bueno, no sé cómo hacerlo, chicos. Se supone que el link tendría que aparecer, pero bueno, no sé qué está pasando. Facebook siempre complica las cosas. Bueno, miren, al carajo con esta porquería. Screw this, I'm gonna go actually straight to the fact. You gotta see it here. That's the name, Amir Nasser Asdani, facing possible execution. The International Players Union actually is sickened by the possibility of that happening. He has been accused of participating in a riot where 3 security agents were killed. But what he was doing, he was protesting for women's rights, so they can have the right to dress the way they want. And unfortunately, this obscurantist regime in Iran, as there's still many in the world, which is a very sad thing, does not understand the concept of having a free, well, I mean, obviously there's nothing free about it, but having a more modern, a more humanitarian regime. I mean, there's nothing humanitarian on them. So Amir Nasser Asdani is facing possible execution on the gallows. They hang you from a crane. This is nothing new in places like Iran. And tomorrow and on Sunday, the finals are going to be played. First, the third and fourth place are going to be disputed in between Morocco and Croatia. Tomorrow, Saturday, and on Sunday. Well, today is Saturday. It's already Saturday. And on Sunday is the final between Argentina and France. And I know they have predicted pretty much this final 3 or 4 months ago. I'm not going to boast about it or nothing. I don't care about that anymore. I care, of course, about the game, the beautiful game. I would love to see Argentina, my country of origin, winning the cup. But what I would love to see more is the players of both teams protesting in some formal way. I'm not saying don't play the final. Of course you're going to play it. Of course it's the most important tournament and event in the world. But you know, there's a limit in what can happen in this so-called modern world. And human stupidity has to stop at a point. We cannot walk by without calling out the Iranian regime for what they're about to do or what they intend to do. Even this, imprisoning a guy, if they have a proven cause, that's a thing, but just think about this. This guy, Amir Nasser Asdani, who played for the Iranian national team when he was in the youth under 20, I think it was, and then he played for a team in the Iranian capital of Tehran, was actually imprisoned for protesting against the restriction of women being able to dress themselves the way they want. So he is asking the government to let them be. And another incident, as many incidents are happening all over Iran, because of these things that should be things of the past, something of ancient dark ages. But this dark ages government, as are many around the world, unfortunately, not many, but enough to say, hey, we are tired and sick of it. It's about to put these guys to put this guy and the likes of him, others that are in prison also. We know about him because he's a footballer, but there are others also that are facing execution for protesting. That has to come to a stop. It's obvious. What you can do is to do what I'm doing, to protest, to send letters, to call the United Nations, bust their chops, bust their balls, call FIFA, call the president, call anyone you can so everybody can make their voices heard and shout out loud and be loud when it comes to those things. So nothing like this hit here too. We had so many bad things in our world. Year 2022, when already we have many problems and many questions about corruption and things like that related to sports all the time. There's always something like that coming. We cannot, go into that, dwell into that, because there are things being investigated in European parliaments and other things as well. How the workers were treated to put this work up together, etc., etc. But what we have to care the most now is about the life of a person, Amir Nasser Asdani, who is another player, a mate for all those players who play the World Cup. He's a professional footballer, and at least a gesture of projecting their grief and their discontent. And as now, I'm happy to show again what the International Soccer Players Union had said, that they're sickened by Iranian player Amir Nasser Asdani facing possible execution in his native country of Iran. This is a message for the governor of Iran. Look, you don't like somebody, you don't want them to be in your country, instead of just not letting him leave anymore, expatriate him. Kick him out of the country. I'm sure that the International Soccer Player Union and FIFA also will be more than accommodating for him, and they will actually do something to find, let's say, a place where he can live at. Talk to a country. He can be a refugee in another country. But there's no need for the regime to kill this guy because of religious, political issues. That has to stop. And if a country cannot stop being like that, well, hey, it's simple. Jump off the world. Be isolated. Do not join the modern world. Do not pretend that you're a friend to the rest of the world if you cannot at least jump a little bit into the modern bloody world. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot kill a person because he disagrees with you, because he's standing for women's rights. Now, if there's any other cause, and I'm trying to find out, you're welcome to explain yourselves. But this is the thing. Look, he was arrested in Isfahan, Iran, for allegedly taking part in an armed riot on September 16 that killed 3 security agents. Isfahan Judiciary Chief Abdullah Jafari said Nasser Hasdani has been accused of rebellion, membership in illegal gangs, collusion to undermine security, and therefore assisting in enmity against God. They put this as it is something against God. So as a result, he faces execution as possible punishment. So on Tuesday, the Association of Soccer Football Players, Professional Football Players, released a statement in support for Nasser Asdani and called on the Iranian government to let him leave. They said that they're shocked and sickened by reports that professional footballer Amir Nasser Asdani faces execution in Iran after campaigning for women's rights and basic freedom in his country. They stand in solidarity. Kudos to the Players Association, which, by the way, that union associates all the players of the world, most of the professional players. So that's a statement. It will be good to have a statement in the final games as well. Because to be honest, of course I want my national team to win, but this is what sickens me the most, because we know how the judicial system is in some of those countries where charges are brought up against you which are not real. So I need to see more proofs to see that really he was seditious and his actions led to the killing of 3 other people. It's really hard to think about that way. So Literally, what most people all over the world, human rights associations are saying, is that the voice of Amir Nasser Asdani is one of the victims of the power of the child-killing government, as some are saying also. And of course, those are declarations. We don't exactly know exactly what happened. But listen to this. In the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, the Iranian national team actually chose to protest the government's crackdown on those protesting in favor of women's rights by refusing to sing the national anthem. This happened. Look at the balls of those guys, the Iranian team. They didn't sing the anthem when they played the match against England. However, in the end, the team did sing the anthem on the final 2 games of the group stage. But just think about this. What a pair of balls of guts took for them to do that. And there was actually kind of a riot in the dressing room, as they say, because of what the players did. But just think about them having to go back to Iran and being against signing the anthem. So what really happened with Amir Nasser Asdani? He could be sentenced to death, and he is accused of being involved in an armed riot that stemmed from nationwide protests for women's rights. And of course, one can only think that enough is enough and people are fed up, and they're trying to bring this whole madness of a regime that tries to have an overpowering control over every single freedom by any means possible. But of course, what is the truth? What is the truth? That's what we're trying to find out. Because to be honest, it's really hard to think that something like this exactly happened the way they're telling us. So, again, all the reports are talking about him being arrested for this supposed strife, this supposed incident. He's connected, or they're connected, the authorities connect them to the murders of a police colonel and 2 volunteer militia members, according to an Iranian wire. So that's an official agency, so we cannot really exactly know. And of course, they were protesting, him and others were protesting in favor of women being able to dress the way they want. If they don't want to use a hijab to cover the hair, the heads, the faces, and cover the whole body, for them to be able to do that. So it's really hard to understand because, again, you are talking about a country that you don't know much about when it comes down to transparency. It's really hard to believe that there's really lots of transparency there. Now look at this. He will be the 28th person that has been sentenced to death amid the protests. Protest against the government not letting women be free to dress the way they want. 21st century year 2022, for fuck's sakes. Tell me that shouldn't be already a thing from the forgettable and disgraceful past of our disgraceful, pathetic, stupid, insufferable human species. We are responsible because we are part of this ridiculous species. And if one thing I can say, yeah, you know what? The trivial part of me, if Argentina wins on Sunday, I'm going to be very happy. And of course, I'm going to tell you, I told you so, like 6 months ago, that the final will be Argentina versus France and that Argentina will win the cup. And I stand by those predictions. But if that doesn't happen, I also will say, well, I was very close. And that's all trivial, all really shallow compared to this serious, dire straits kind of problem. When you see the pictures of the people in Iran with a tremendous pair of balls, everybody with tremendous guts, protesting for the basic freedoms. And one only wonders and can ask, what does it take for this world to finally stand up and say, hey, if in certain parts of the world there's a country that has a government that does not allow basic freedoms, and where People cannot be themselves. If they can actually have to run away or hide to say something or to wear something, then what's going to take for us to the bloody United Nations to just start blocking those countries, cast them away, tell them, work with them, so any and everybody who wants to leave those countries could be able to leave those countries peacefully, and they can stay with their 1,000 government members, with those as leakers who will love to be there with them and follow along with those imbecilic, ridiculous, ancient, dark ages type of kind of laws. And these laws, I mean, don't tell me that they have a lot to do with religion or nothing. It's only about false interpretations of religion, because I know a lot of people from the Islamic world, and they're not like this. They do not discriminate in those ways. Stop thinking that either Judaism, Islam, or any of the Christian denominations, from Catholic to Presbyterians to Evangelicals, or whatever you want to call them, have any particular disdain for certain people. It's not the religion, and I'm not a religious person. It's the people behind it and the way they interpret those scriptures on whatever they think that are the sacred steps to take towards their twisted version of sanctity, of to gain access to a heaven. It's a disease. It's ridiculous. It's something we have to grow up from as humans once and for all. Because as we enjoy the most wonderful event on earth, a World Football Soccer Cup, the FIFA World Cup, we're having to witness all of these things and learn about all of these problems that really should not be happening anymore. And Qatar, the government of Qatar, they're having a wonderful World Cup and everything, but show us that you really care. Send a letter, an official letter, a government letter from the Caliphate or Principate or whatever the hell you are, to the government of Iran, telling them that you disapprove of what they are doing, of their actions against their people. One thing that you should understand is that people deserve to be free. If you are respectful of others, you can do with yourself whatever you want. That is the way it should be. As long as you don't negatively affect others by being free with your freedoms, as long as you respect other people's freedoms, you should be free to do whatever the hell you want with yourself. If you're not responsible, that's your responsibility. If you are responsible, well, good for you. If you want to go one way, well, it's your problem. If you want to lean the other way, well, it's your problem. Tolerance and coexistence should be something that we should have learned as a species a long, long time ago. But unfortunately, we have to keep on dealing with these situations. Again, this guy, Nasser Asdani, whose last professional appearance came in the 2018 league, playing for the Tractor Cultural Sports Economic Club in the Persian Gulf Pro League, he might be killed very soon. It's one of the list. If this is one of a list of 28 potential victims for protesting in favor of women's rights, which is in favor of human rights, to dress the way they want. And they're not talking about walking naked in the streets, which, by the way, they would like to do that. It's their problem. But they're talking about women being able to show their faces in public. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the year is 2022. I'm talking about issues from ages and ages ago. And this fucking pathetic, bloody, imbecilic species that we belong to. That really, it is hard not to be ashamed of being a human when these things happen because of us. It's terrible, it's shameful, and everybody should know it. And all of you should do something. Send your message, do something. I'm writing letters right and left, everywhere, up and down, sending them to the United Nations, trying to reach the Iranian government, because I don't have proofs that this guy has been involved in the killing of nobody, but I do have proof that he has been involved in a movement that is protesting in favor of women, thus human rights. Now I'm going to switch to Spanish. Es increíble que en el siglo XX nuestra patética, asquerosa, repugnante, imbécil especie humana, sí, mírense al espejo, somos un asco, damos ganas de vomitar por las orejas, todavía tenga que experimentar esta mierda de cosas, que un tipo pueda ser una de las 28 víctimas de un régimen totalitario que se hace llamar democrático y que solo elige gente del clero de una religión. ¿Por qué? Porque el señor protestó a favor de los derechos de las mujeres, por lo tanto a favor de derechos humanos. Ahora se lo acusa de que estuvo involucrado en un incidente en donde potencialmente habría participado él, y eso derivó en la muerte de 2 agentes y un militante del partido base y conservador y ultraortodoxo de Irán. ¿Y cuáles son las pruebas? Porque un régimen que te esconde todo, que te inventa todo, mañana te agarran y te inventan que te salen cuernos y alas del diablo, y es la única información que tienes, es la que te da la agencia federal. No hemos escuchado al pobre muchacho, no hemos sabido qué es el problema que tuvo Amir Nasser Asdan, que su último juego profesional fue en el 2017, en el torneo de 2018, jugó para el Tractor Cultural Sports Economic Club en la Liga del Golfo Pérsico. Y fíjense ustedes, ahora podría ser uno de 28 personas que podrían ser ejecutadas. A ver, estamos hablando de que lo van a matar, lo van a colgar de una horca en una grúa, ¿verdad? Y mientras en las publicidades de las noticias que llegan y de la información vemos a chicas que muestran todo sin ningún problema, este tipo está protestando y uno cuando dice, bueno, protestas armadas o violentas, ¿y a qué punto quiere llegar? ¿Hasta dónde se puede aguantar? Cuando usted ve que en un país con unas pelotas tremendas, o ovarios tremendos, según sean mujeres y hombres, están las chicas, los muchachos protestando en la calle, y ahí veo una foto atrás con una de esas grúas en Irán de donde se cuelga a la gente. Así la matan en ejecuciones públicas. Mire, y no le echen la culpa al Islam, como no le deben echar la culpa ni al judaísmo ni al cristianismo, en cualquiera de sus denominaciones, que hay más denominaciones cristianas que equipos en la NFL o en las ligas de fútbol. Problema de cada quien. Cada quien puede elegir ser lo que carajo le venga al culo. Me vale madre. Y 3 mierdas lo que piensen, y si me censuran, porque me tienen las pelotas por el suelo, la estupidez humana de una especie de mierda a la que pertenezco y de la que me avergüenzo. Somos un asco. Damos ganas de vomitar por la oreja. To throw up from my ears, como decía en inglés también. ¿Por qué? Porque siempre estamos haciendo una cagada tras de la otra. Nos jodemos la vida. Tenemos todos los recursos para ser mejores. Tenemos todos los recursos para que nadie se muera de hambre, que nadie se muera de frío, que nadie no tenga un techo, que todos tengan un techo. Y sin embargo, seguimos con pura mierda. Naciones Unidas, ente inservible de imbéciles, hijos de su reputa madre. Hagan algo. Muevan el culo, imbéciles. Y no solo por este muchacho, por muchas violaciones a derechos humanos. Soy corresponsal de guerra y combate. Vi mierda y merdía por todo el mundo. Nadie me puede contar nada porque yo la vi. Hace poco en Ucrania. Y me importa un carajo los políticos que no sirven para nada porque no arreglan nada tampoco. Me importa la gente que sufre. A esa que sacaba yo de un edificio derruido a bombazos, sacando cuerpos de gente podrida, muerta. Y a las pobres madres que no sabían dónde estaban sus hijos. En Ucrania. Y eso pasa en otros lados también. Como el muchacho de Camerún que llegó a la frontera del Paso en el año 19, diciendo que se escapó cuando en el norte de Camerún, por una guerra civil, le llegaron a matar a sus padres. Se tuvo que esconder y se tuvo que salir corriendo. Se metió en un barco de papas y terminó el Caribe, y con mucha odisea llegó justamente a la frontera de Juárez y El Paso, Texas. Y bueno, pronto sale mi libro, El Manifiesto Antihumano. Sale en inglés, pero se va a traducir a otros idiomas. Es un manifiesto en contra de lo peor de la humanidad. Y para exaltar las pocas, pero muy buenas, cosas buenas, valga la redundancia, de nuestra humanidad. Y si no se crea que me estoy acá lavando las manos de mis predicciones. Mis predicciones siguen como hace 6 meses. que le dije que para mí la final iba a ser entre Francia y Argentina, que le dije que Argentina va a ganar la Copa, sí, pero eso es algo trivial. ¿Y sabe qué? Si me sale bien, bravo, vive el profeta. Como broma, es algo trivial, algo liviano. Y si me sale mal también lo acepto. Bueno, llegué hasta ahí, ¿no? Llegué hasta la final. Pero eso no se compara en peso específico con lo que está pasando en un lugar como Irán. Y de nuevo, no le echen la culpa a las religiones. Echen la culpa a los que están atrás de las religiones, a esos que las secuestran para hacer de las religiones algo nefasto, nefario. Nefarious, dicen en inglés también. Y que se escudan en la religión para decir que ellos tienen la martingala de cómo llegar al cielo y que por eso, si alguien protesta en contra de lo que ellos dicen, acabado está el tema, hay que matar a esa persona. Oscurantistas, dementes, cínicos. A ver, Naciones Unidas, silban para una mierda. ¿Saben lo que tienen que hacer con esos países? Aislarlos, llegar a un acuerdo y decirles, abran sus puertas, nadie los va a invadir, nadie les va a tirar bomba, nadie les va a hacer nada. Dejen que la gente que se quiera ir, se vaya. Y ocúpense porque hay lugares y hay formas. En mi libro doy un plan de cómo ayudar a los refugiados, creando ciudades Edén, ¿verdad? En donde las Naciones Unidas, en conjunción con entidades internacionales crediticias y con países, podrían armar ciudades, por ejemplo, rescatando las miles de ciudades fantasmas que existen en el mundo. En Estados Unidos solo hay 35.000. Y con eso le podremos ayudar y salvar la vida a muchos refugiados. Imagínese usted que si Irán tiene tanto problema en que las mujeres sean libres de no andar tapándose todas como si fueran un tamal y querer mostrar su bello rostro. Y bueno, no queremos que lo hagan. Bueno, vamos a hacer una cosa, en vez que las maten, como lo están haciendo, o que maten a los que protestan, o que lleguen a un nivel de que se ponen tan nerviosos en donde ya el estrés revienta y se matan entre ellos, porque hay choques y alguien resulta muerto, dejen que esa gente se vaya. Todos los que se quieren ir. Cuando se queden, como digo yo, en Afganistán, cuando se queden nomás 1000 talibanes, no tengan ni para ir al doctor, ni un ingeniero, ni nada, a ver qué hacen. Igual acá. Hagan un gueto, aíslenlos. Y que la gente que quiere ser libre se pueda venir, ir a los demás países del mundo y las Naciones Unidas, estructurar con los países y los ámbitos crediticios un plan para que los refugiados no tengan que dormir a la intemperie. No hay razón para ello. Se tiran toneladas de comidas al día. Hay de sobra recursos para que el ser humano viva. Mire usted, si utilizáramos nada más que el 2% del desierto del Sahara, esto está científicamente comprobado, habría energía para todo el mundo. 2% del desierto del Sahara para capturar energía solar, además. A ver si nos dejamos de joder con los intereses de mierda de los seres humanos y comenzamos a hacer las cosas bien. Somos una especie podrida. Damos asco. Estamos podridos, olemos a mierda por nuestras ideas e ideologías piojosas. Y hay ideas e ideologías, no, la ideología no sirve porque se cierra. Las ideas sirven, porque no te puedes encasillar, tienes que abrirte. Yo no pertenezco ni quiero pertenecer a ningún partido ni a ninguna bandera. Quiero pertenecer a la humanidad que mejora. Y no me interesa ser más humano, porque ser más humano a veces es ser más imbécil. Me interesa ser mejor humano. Con ese criterio, y Hitler fue más humano. ¿Y qué fue? Un enfermo psicópata deforme mental, impedido cerebral, y miren a lo que llegó al mundo. Aún con todo lo que se puede defender de razones de un país que cae. Sí, pero el fin no justifica los medios. El voy a levantar un país no puede hacerse a modo de que voy a levantar una etnia por sobre todas las demás y en ese proceso me voy a llevar a todas las demás puestas, voy a matar a todos y me vale, y lo voy a tratar de hacer de una manera práctica y el sufrimiento de los demás me vale. Obviamente, eso es porque por pseudociencia, por un nihilismo infantil idiota, porque verdaderamente no saben lo que hacen, no sabían lo que hacen y porque son ignorantes. A ver, cualquier persona, un antropólogo social como yo, que estudió la historia de la humanidad, sabemos que hay una sola raza, la raza humana, y diferentes etnias. A nadie se le escapa un sexto dedo, todos tenemos 5. A lo sumo, si tenemos un accidente, perdemos alguno, no sé. Pero todos somos iguales. Y las diferencias hacen a nuestras similitudes más de lo que cualquiera cree. Señoras y señores, tiempo de mirarnos al espejo. El domingo puede haber una muy bella final. Yo la voy a disfrutar pase lo que pase, pero lo más importante es dejarse de joder. Hay que reclamar que estas cosas no pasen. A ver, Amir Nasir Hassani, el 28 prisionero que es sentenciado a muerte por las protestas a favor de que las mujeres puedan liberar sus caras y vestirse más relajadas. Fíjese usted, ¿eh? Entonces, Irán ya hizo la primera ejecución, ya la condujo, fue ayer jueves, ¿verdad? Y le quiero decir una cosa, 3 de esos 28 individuos son niños. No es por Nasir Hassani, por Amir Nasir Hassani, que es un jugador de fútbol profesional y que hace rato que no ve acción. Es por todos, nadie tiene coronitas. Pero estaría interesante que en las finales en Qatar, tanto tercer y cuarto puesto como el primero y segundo, los jugadores también puedan expresarse, ojalá los dejen, aunque se están expresando por medio de la Asociación Internacional de Jugadores de Fútbol, del Sindicato Internacional de Jugadores de Fútbol, y eso me parece muy loable. Como qué pelotas que tuvieron los jugadores del equipo iraní sin cantar el himno de su país en protesta en el partido contra Inglaterra. Y así tuvieron que jugar bajo esas condiciones. Señores, hay que empezar a llamarle la atención a estos psicópatas, dementes, infradotados, impedidos mentales, que de repente caen a cargo de un gobierno, como ha pasado en toda la historia de la humanidad. La peor mierda termina teniendo el mejor poder. Así de asco, así de espantosos somos los seres humanos. Y es hora de empezar a revertir eso. Yo no tengo fe, o sea, a ver, ser humano, no te tengo fe para nada. Para mí estás perdido, estás jodido. Y me hablo a mí mismo, porque soy parte de esta desgraciada especie. Pero les digo una cosa, sí tengo fe, o por lo menos tengo la proyección técnica, que la he escrito en mi libro, de saber que los seres humanos al menos podremos proyectar ser mejores, empezar a progresar. Y quizás eso suceda, no sé, en 100, 200, 300, 500 años le proyecto yo. Pero en algún momento tenemos que empezar. ¿Qué mejor que ahora? ¿Qué mejor que ya? Lo voy a decir en inglés porque no lo dije eso. Well, I have no faith in you, you pathetic human being. I'm talking to myself and to you because we belong to the same species. I have no faith whatsoever that you're going to become better right away. But at least I have the technical projection to understand that we can become better. And that might happen in 100 years, 200, 300, 400. 500 is my projected plan as for humans to evolve towards becoming better. But you have to start sometime. What a better time than right here and right now. Let's start speaking up. That means cursing. That means saying bloody hell. Things are not well. Things are absolutely wrong. We cannot hide. We have to speak up. Again, 28 persons sentenced to death amid the protest against forbidding women from dressing the way they want. Not even that. They're not talking about walking naked in the streets. They're talking about being able not to cover the bloody heads because they want to breathe, they want to see, they want the beautiful faces to be seen. What's wrong with that? Again, that has nothing to do with religion. It's the people behind the religions. Respect the religions because in some way they bring people, it's other things, but they bring people a base and a set of core beliefs in which they can rely and rest. That faith makes them move forward, makes them wake up in the morning and feel like they have a purpose in life. It doesn't matter if you believe or not. That's your choice. You're free to do so. Like the Constitution here in the United States of America indicates, and I think that's the greatest thing to project, the idea that you're free to believe or not. You can do whatever you want. I think that everybody should keep on educating themselves and questioning everything, but it's up to you, mate. I'm not telling you what to do. What I'm telling you to do, and that, yeah, I'm actually commanding you to do so, is to respect other people's freedoms. We have to claim for that. We have to speak up for that to happen in Iran, Afghanistan, and any other country in the world. The great countries, they have great people, and they deserve respect, and they deserve to live free, and to have dreams, and to be able to project themselves to a better tomorrow. Thank you very much for Epic News. I'm Marcelo Palermo, and our curse, shout out and yell all that I need. So finally, at least somebody will listen and will say, hey, yeah, maybe this is a moment right here and right now. We must speak up. Thank you.